Hello and welcome to round 48 of Fragmaster's GTI Thursday in Live for Speed. Tonight we're at Rockingham Sportscar and we've got a lot to cover before the lights go out in just under 2 minutes time. We'll have a look first of all at the track. We're using Rockingham Sportscar with the chicane tonight, 2.7 kilometre, 1.7 mile configuration, and we're going to be treated to two 19-minute laps, both with a mandatory pit stop, and the second with a reverse top 15 start, which always throws in a little bit of action into the mix. We are one round away from the end of the championship after tonight. We're going to be broadcasting the final round on December the 21st, which is exciting. Can't wait for that. Let's jump straight into the important bit then, the drivers and teams championship standings. Here are the standings as we look, and we'll go through these again later on in the broadcast. But the important thing to note is that B2R pretty much have this in the bag. The interesting story, though, is in the Drivers' Championship standings, because at the front it is super tight between TJ and Joe Holmes. Just 10 points separate both of those drivers going into the final month of the championship battle. Fnatic there some way off, but still potentially in with a chance of getting onto the top step at the end of the championship. So keep an eye on TJ, keep an eye on Joe Holmes as we head through tonight's action. 15 seconds to go before the start of the race then, and what a race it's going to be. The first race is going to kind of set the stage for race two, so don't expect too much drama. The way the drivers line up is as follows. We'll have Mantas and TJ on the front row, but I'll let you see them for yourself because we have drivers on the track ready to go. So let's get this show on the road. The drivers lining up on the grid, waiting for the lights to go green. The engines spool up, and we are green for the start of the first of two 19-lap races, and it's a good start from Mantas and TJ at the front. Importantly, we do not seem to have a Joe Holmes here tonight, so if TJ can get a good result, then he will move up into that important top step, cement his place at the top of the championship going into the next round. But anyway, as the drivers move their way down to the first corner, the first hairpin, we've already got a retirement there. Somebody jumping straight out there. That was Beirut deciding that enough's enough after outbraking himself as Mantas weaves his way through the first couple of corners, followed very closely by TJ as they make their way onto the infield of the Rockingham circuit. We're going to go through PIF and PAF, and then on our way down to the back end of the infield section. We don't tend to see this part of the track too often, and especially not this little cut through back onto the oval to complete what will be the first lap. But Mantas leads the way ahead of TJ, followed closely by Loco and Fnatic, and a whole huge train of cars makes their way onto the oval. And they all seem to be pretty spread out, so not really much opportunity at the front, especially for slipstreaming. And as they come across the start-finish line, we've got a big group at the back around the Sim Racing Polska driver. That's Wujek. You can just see him going through your shot now. Here he is. That's Pekka Koivunen in the XFG. And Wujek's got that very wrong. Clouts the barrier. Someone's got it even more wrong ahead of them. I think that was Lord Jag going off into the wall. Cam Data as well. Cam Data and Rocket also in trouble, but no trouble at the front. Mantas doing a solid job right now to hold TJ off. But it looks like Fnatic and Loco very close as well as we go into PIF. Here's Twin Cam with Doctor. Pretty big gaggle here. And Majesta going through. Fnatic's probably going to have a run on Loco here. He's the closest car. These are the two closest cars on the track at the moment as Fnatic goes to the inside, trying to find a way around Loco, and that's probably going to be a good way to do it as we go into the first chicane. And out again onto the oval. Here comes Mantas, TJ, and then Fnatic takes over P3. So change of position there for the Fragmaster driver. Mantas quite wide into turn 1 there. That gave TJ a little bit of confidence to hold the inside line. And Pekka Koivunen still fancying his chances against Wujek. Has the inside line actually. And yeah, well, there we go. An XFG overtaking an XRG at the end of the oval. Slightly unusual. Rocket's had a spin at the chicane, but is underway again. Just caught the tail end of that. But TJ really is trying to hunt down Mantas at the moment. We've got a fight on between Aerofade and Doctor as we go into Piff Paff, and that's Aerofade on the inside. But over the curbs goes Doctor and manages to get back through. And we'll have the apex at Kirby. And then we cut back through. We actually joined the Brook hairpin here. And then back out onto oval turn 4. Drivers using a lot of track limits and beyond, going on the other side of those cones there. A little bit cheeky. Further forward, we've got Derinus and Jari Katila, both driving XFGs here, both in a fight with each other. Let's see what Derinus can do from this position. Right on board through the chicane. Yeah, you can see they're just taking all the curb and more. Just sending the car through there. That tends to be the reason why we don't use the chicane version of this track, because the drivers feel the need to go flat out over the curbs and get plenty of air. As Derinus goes through to claim P11, but Jari is trying to come back at him. And actually, that's a spirited move. Derinus is going to do well to hold the outside here. Jari gives him the space. But who's going to have the inside for Piff? It's going to be Derinus, just about rubbing wheels, rubbing doors. And there's another world-class Lions driver just behind them. It's Pekka Koivunen as Derinus goes off. And, well, for a moment there, Jari must have thought he'd pulled a blinder, but no, he's lost a position to his teammate. And Derinus has dropped behind Wujek even, as Wujek goes seriously wide out of the infield there. Way out of track limits. And TJ, still with the fastest lap, is trying to catch up to the back of Mantas as Fnatic goes seriously wide, and that's going to allow Loco a chance surely into turn 1. Yes, there we go. Loco briefly into P3. We've got a car slow at turn 1, in fact stops at turn 1. Wujek has crashed at the chicane, but we're just going to finish this overtake. Nice pass that from Loco, capitalising on an error by Fnatic. And there you can see the damage on the front right of Wujek's car after what must have been a crash at the first chicane. And that's going to allow Aerofade to make another place probably quite easily, getting up to P16 there. So what can TJ do following Mantas? Both seriously quick drivers. They've already got a buffer of 2.5 seconds over the chasing pack. So TJ can be kind of left to his own devices to see where he can try and get past the Born to Race driver here. Using all of the apron, Mantas electing to stay a little bit higher up the oval. And yeah, TJ not quite in the slipstream, so Mantas safe from any sort of challenge there. As we've got a fight between Twincam and Jari. They are side by side, going through oval turn 4. And Doctor's going to try and get Jari as well. He's going around the outside, making hard work for himself, but he will be ahead before they make the braking for the first chicane. So yeah, Jari is down to P15, but has a pretty tough job on his hands, to be honest, because it's not the easiest thing trying to get an XFG to keep up with the XRGs when you've got a huge oval. And Twincam there, losing a place to Doctor. as they go through Piff Paff one more time. And Yari is able to keep up, sorry. So yeah, the XFG can do the job in the infield, but difficult on the oval to keep up. And it looks like TJ hasn't had the best lap there. 1.2 seconds now, the gap between himself and race leader Mantas. Full send through the chicane, as usual. And Loco has managed to break free of Fnatic, so that's another surprise. And Master's doing a pretty good job here to keep up in the top 5. Just 6 seconds at the moment from our race leader. All of these drivers, remember, have to make a mandatory pit stop in both races. So we are going to see them into the pits at some point in the next 12 laps. Mad Jester's had a disaster at the chicane and is going slowly, as all the other cars that he'd managed to get himself ahead of file past. And we've got another tight group here between Twin Cam and Yari again. So Yari was able to keep up with Twin Cam around the oval. Again, a bit surprising. And then on the infield, the XFG does have a slight advantage, but the only issue is you've got a load of really, really fat and slow XRGs to get past. So by the time you get to Brook, which is here, it's too late. Rocket goes into the pit lane to repair some damage. So he will be on his way very soon. There's no mandatory work needed in these pit stops, but some drivers elect to do their damage repair or sometimes refuel for the optimum strategy. And TJ does look like he's struggling here. Loco is very definitely catching up now. Just 1 second and change separates P2 from P3 here, but almost 2 seconds now to Mantas. So it'll be interesting to see how many laps it takes for Loco to close up to the back of TJ. Keep an eye on the order. Mantas, meanwhile, just driving onto the oval. And already at pit entry and into turn 4. There he goes. Cam and Yari still going at it. Look, Yari trying to find a way through. He just can't get past on the infield. The XRG is just too wide, and there's just not a way past. As, just about to complete lap 9 and move on to lap 10 in race 1. Mantas already down into the first sector. Now the second sector, in fact. Making really, really good time. But what's happening with TJ? Well, the gap between himself and Loco has somewhat neutralised itself. But he might start to feel the pressure pretty soon. Loco making better use of those road normal tyres. Here's Michael Malek for Free Candy Racing. Currently P10 on his own. And here is Aerofade, who's catching up to C. White. Aerofade's made a few overtakes so far in this race on camera. How many more can he make? As Mantas heads through the first chicane, full commitment, sending those bollards flying. DJ follows through, so too does Loco. And Fnatic, there goes Master again, taking some of the track paraphernalia with him. Very, very sketchy through there. And there we go. Bit of a shot over the top of that chicane. A couple of drivers clouting the walls as usual. And now the leader has had to navigate his first bit of on-track traffic. I think that was Can Data, who moves well out of the way of the race leaders. And Wooyak takes to the pit lane. already stopped on his way again. And we're using the alternate exit, I think. No, we're not using the alternate exit. The cars are fed straight back into essentially the racing line through turn 1. And there goes Beirut. But yeah, TJ now is definitely starting to struggle. Half a second between him and Loco as we go on to lap 11 now for our race leaders. And let's watch Loco through the chicane. TJ's got some damage, and there we go, straight into the wall for TJ. Definitely messes up the first chicane to a huge degree, and that has not gone well for TJ at all there. And yeah, he is going to be struggling now to the end of the race. Absolutely, there's nothing he can do except hold on and see what he can get out of this. But Mantas will be laughing. He's got his teammate now for company at the front. But TJ, what a disaster there. Had a little bit of damage from somewhere, and now will certainly have a little bit more. Might even lose third place here to Fnatic. B-Fly spectates from the race. Had an incident somewhere out on track, I believe. And we've got Martin Capal on a fight with... in fact, I think he's already gone through. Yeah, Martin Capal driving in an XFG, making a move there on C White, as actually Martin goes quite wide. And Fnatic goes into the pit lane. Doesn't want to waste time fighting with TJ. Does his mandatory pit stop, no work needed. Straight out onto the road. TJ needs to get points here, so he has to get a good result. With Joe Holmes not in attendance today, he absolutely needs to get a good result, and you're not going to do that by flinging the car into the walls as Mantas passes another backmarker. Loco will soon need to do the same. A 1.3 second pit stop for Rayman as well, in and out of the pit lane. To rejoin the race in P14 as we watch Loco finishing the lap here, but 3.6 seconds behind his teammate. Mantas is on an absolute charge, but yeah, TJ needs a good finish here, so can't afford any more mistakes, and it's so easy to make those mistakes into that first chicane. Pekka Koivunen and Michael Malik very close together. The XRG almost, completely obscuring Pekka there as Michael runs wide to take as much momentum onto the home straight as possible. But that's going to be no problem for Pekka, straight through as Rocket goes into the pits just out of shot there. I think Rocket's already been in the pit lane, so not sure why he's going back in again. Clearly not enjoying tonight's combo. And this is going to be dodgy. Who's going to break out here? Yeah, Michael breaks out of it. Pekka goes through. Nice overtake there. Pekka up to P7. The highest placed XFG, though, is Hachiroku, who's a further, a couple of hundred meters actually ahead of Koivunen. And now Derinus is trying to go around the outside of Michael, and Fnatic, after pitting from P3, has found himself in all sorts of traffic. In fact, he was P4, just behind TJ, but now he's in traffic. So that possibly wasn't the best strategy decision from Fnatic. He's stuck behind Gum Garage Derinus now. And it's going to be very difficult to get past in the infield, so he's just going to be getting held up. Dreadful strategy there from Fnatic. Not going to be getting a podium at that rate. That's Doctor at the back of this train as well, so you can see where he's got up to. But yeah, now Fnatic has to swing to the inside. He's got to force the move somehow if he wants to have any chance, really, of getting a podium in this race. Crazy decision to pit that early, unless he'd underfueled himself. And it's going to force a 3 wide into the chicane. Who's going to break out here? Fnatic has to bail out of it. Only makes one position. Michael very, very early into the chicane. Doctor's got a run there on Derenis. In fact, he's already through. Fnatic on Michael Malik. It took a whole lap for Fnatic to get this lined up. As Hachiroku's, I think has he made an error? I'm not sure, but Pekka's through. So Hachiroku either coming into contact with Pekka or just outbraking himself into Dean. As Fnatic now making quick work of that as he needs to. He's made his life very difficult here, pitting so early in this race. But what that does give us is a nice fight between 4 drivers then. So let's keep an eye on these guys. Michael Malik in the middle. Hachiroku just ahead. Doctor now trying to line up an overtake, and that's Derenis in the gun garage car, who will try to hang on, or not. Decides to go into the pit lane to let the others fight it out on track, as our race leader is already down at Yentwood. 4 laps to go after this one for Mantas. And yeah, Hachiroku and Derenis both into the pit lane in their XFGs. Derenis nicely into a pit box and on his way. Hachiroku still trying to find a pit box. Oh dear. And is he able to get up to speed? Just about before Derenis can catch up. So a little bit laboured trying to find a pit box there for Hachiroku. And who are we watching now? Watching Mantas catching up to the back of Wujek, who will leave plenty of room for our race leader to get past. And here then is Loco, now 5 seconds back from his teammate, and TJ a further 5 seconds back from him. Remember that the driver that finishes in P15 in this race will be starting on pole position. It's impossible to predict who that's going to be because, as you can see from the timing tower, a large number of drivers need to make their mandatory pit stop. Everyone from our race leader down to Pekka Koivunen, and then we'll see where Fnatic ends up. Got caught in traffic for a lap and a half at least, and well, now finds himself in clean air. But was that lap and a half of traffic enough to stop him from being able to get past TJ? You'd think so. Mantas makes his way past another of the back markers. And now gets to start to, well, has to start to think about when he's going to come into the pit lane. An ultimate lap is the last opportunity to come in. So in 2 laps' time, at the absolute latest for Mantas. There's the back marker there heading into the pits. And Fnatic has caught up to Pekka Koivunen now. And cannot waste any time. Got to get past. And should be able to get it done on the oval. That XRG should have the overspeed. And the gap between TJ and Fnatic is just over 20 seconds. But only just. Oh, but this is going to hurt Fnatic. Pekka Koivunen's managed to stay ahead through the chicane. Fnatic had to break out of that. And will Pekka defend the inside? Well, kind of half-heartedly. And surely now Fnatic can get through. Doctor goes into the pits. And is on his way out already, actually. And Fnatic does finally get that move made. So back up to P6, but remember he is the first car, the top driver that has already pitted. Everybody else in the top 7 needs to stop. And Mantas will be doing that on the next lap. Full commitment through the chicane, taking a couple of bollards with him. now has a little bit of traffic that will move well out of the way. We've got a fight now for P12 between Doctor and Hachiroku. Doctor in the XRG here, the black one. Doctor's already pitted, so this is a bit inconsequential. Asker goes into the pit lane. 1.33 seconds, as quick as it can be, pretty much. And works his way out of the pit lane. Jari Katilla's also in the pits. There we are. There we go. Jari Katilla out of the pit lane. Back into P13 for now. And here comes Mantas, our race leader, into the pit lane. And let's see how it goes for him. He needs a clean stop here. Finds one of the earlier pit boxes. Pulls into position. Quick stop. And will make his way back out. Loco should also be in. So should TJ. It's the last opportunity for those guys to pit. Here's Loco. Here's TJ. But where is Fnatic? TJ's just setting off now. And Fnatic is only coming out. Fnatic's has he had an accident? What is going on with the back of his car? I think we've missed some on-track action there because the back of that car is completely destroyed. And Fnatic is absolutely nowhere near TJ. TJ's already down at turn 1, so Fnatic's had a big accident somewhere on the track. So TJ lucky there in the end, and will probably claim a podium unless something else happens. Not really much of a threat to Master, but look at the state of the back of Fnatic's car. What has he done to do that? Well. A sketchy strategy decision and then a pretty massive accident. I mean, look at the state of the back of that. Out of the final corner then comes Mantas. Almost putting a lap on Aerofade there, who just goes through your shot now. And it's looking like it's going to be Gum Garage Derenus on pole position in P15 at the moment, but we'll see how it shakes out. But across the start-finish line comes Mantas to take the win in race 1. And everybody else will follow through. Final car across the line should be Aerofade. But yeah, we're going to get the finishers read out in a minute and work out who is going to be on the all-important P15 step. But your podium is Mantas, Loco and TJ. TJ lucky there to steal a podium. He will start in P13. Beirut did not pit, so Beirut gets a penalty and will not be classified as a finisher. So just Wujek and Aerofade to go. In fact, Wujek's already finished. And everybody now has crossed the start-finish line. So we will run through the results of race 1 and confirm for you who is going to be starting on that pole for race 2, which is coming up in about 10 minutes' time. Wujek will have the pole position, but it was Mantas who won race 1 in commanding fashion, 4.5 seconds ahead of Loco, then TJ, who desperately needed maximum points here today to cement the lead over Joe Holmes in the championship. Then it's Master for SRP, best of the rest in P4, with Fnatic, Asker, Rayman, Magic, Koivunen and Michael rounding out your top 10. Jari Katila, Doctor, Twincam, Martin Gopal, and Wujek will all be switched at the start. And that reversed order will be the start of race 2. Aerofade, unfortunately, will start in P16. No such luck for him. Derenus, in the end, finishing in P17 with White, Hermani, and Lord Jag, the top 20. Over on page 2, we've got Hachiroku, Mad Jester, Rocket, Candata, B-Fly, Zables, Rex, and Beirut. Hachiroku there registering a DNF. Mad Jester and Rocket finishing a couple of laps down. A few more DNFs there. But Beirut there also disqualified for not pitting once during the race. All right. Another 19-lap race coming up in just a few moments' time, also with a mandatory pit stop. But this time, we're going to have a reverse top 15, which is guaranteed to mix the order up beyond recognition. Always a cracking thing to witness is race 2 in a reverse grid scenario. So before that, let's walk through or take another look at the championship standings. We briefly talked about them at the top of the show. So in the team's championship standings, it's Born to Race ahead of Road Appraiser with Fragmasters, World Class Lions, Sidus, Sim Racing Polska, Race Green Iron, Air Attack, and Master Race Car, your top 10. And there's pretty much no way that B2R can be defeated, especially if Mantas and Loco keep delivering results like they just did in race number 1. They are untouchable in the team's championship standings, and a huge number of teams have competed this year in the championship. 34 teams registering at least 1 point in the Fragmasters GTI Thursday 2023 championship, which is an epic turnout for the series. So congratulations to Fragmaster and all the teams for scoring lots and lots of great points. But then over in the Drivers' Championship standing, it's quite a different situation. TJ and Joe Holmes there are only separated by 10 points, hence the need for TJ to score some big points in race 1. Managed third place, which comes with a decent handful of points, but Mantas and Loco just besting him on this occasion. And from P13 on the grid for race 2, TJ's got a lot of work to do to get points in race 2. Doesn't seem to be on his highest of form today, but we'll see what happens in a few minutes' time. And we have a lot of results to go through here, so I'll just let them scroll through. An insane number of drivers registering at least 1 point this season, which is obviously great to see. This series obviously running every single week from January through to the end of the year. Just 4 to go, I believe, before the end of the year. In fact, just 3. No, it is 4 to go after today. We have about 80 seconds to go before the grid, and for the second 19-lap partially reverse grid race. So stay right where you are, because it should be pretty spectacular. I'm just going to let these results slide on through. If you spot your name, then thank you for your participation. Without you, we can't cover the action. That is what you are providing by driving in these championships. So thank you very much. And as I did mention, there are an insane number of drivers, 169 in total, scoring at least 1 point so far this year. Plenty of time to add your name to this list if you aren't competing in the series. We'd love to see you on the grid. 30 seconds to go before the start of race 2. And, in recent broadcasts, race 2 has been absolutely mega. And hopefully tonight is no exception at Rockingham Sportscar. One of the faster and slightly less technical configurations within Rockingham. But I know a number of the drivers especially enjoy driving this track in the GTI cars. As we have a grid, and we will return to the action now. So for the final time tonight, the drivers line up on the track. There we go. And it will be Wujek on the pole position. There he is as we wait for the lights. The lights are going to go green. And we are green for the start of race number 2. 19 more laps. And there's a driver stationary, wasn't ready on the grid. And is it Fnatic? Yes, it is. Fnatic has to withdraw from the race already as we watch all the cars go through the first chicane. Are there going to be any spills, I wonder, as they all head through there? Well, yeah, a few cars having issues there. And we have a huge gaggle of cars around TJ and Oscar at the back. Wujek through cleanly into the first corner. Martin Cabal running quite wide there in his XFG, and a whole swarm of cars now piling on down to Yentwood. Wujek through, Twin Cam through, Doctor through, and here's TJ, who will not be enjoying being pushed down a position from the start, which hasn't really gone his way tonight, has it at all? Now, if any of you are wondering where the statistics for the second broadcast, the second race picks has gone, well, with the absence of Zdravko tonight, we are going to put that competition on hold, and we will do it one final time at the last race of the year. As TJ, as you can see in the background there, has completely messed up Brook and is going to drop down a huge number of places now. Oh my goodness, that is not the way that TJ wanted this evening to go. In fact, he's going to go straight into the pit lane as well to repair that car. And a lot of other drivers have decided to do that as well. Loco has also come into the pit lane. Oh, has to weave his way around the back of Hachiroku, sorry. Who was that? That was Master. So absolutely crazy scenes in the pit lane. 2 Born to Race cars, Sim Racing Polska, and Magic in there as well. As our attention has to turn back to the start of the front of the grid. Wujek, followed by Twin Cam and Doctor at the moment. But yeah, unbelievable scenes there from TJ. Not quite sure what he was doing through Brook, but ended up going face first into the concrete barrier on the exit. Now Twin Cam is left with a decision. Where is he going to try and get past Wujek? He doesn't want to lose out to Doctor behind. Knows how much of a problem Doctor can be. And, they get so close to the tyre bales there. And Wujek choosing a tighter line to make sure he gets the best exit. And it looks like Twin Cam is going to pit early. Interesting decision. Where's he going to come out in relation to everybody else? Wujek and Doctor stay out on the track. But Twin Cam then, surprisingly, has come in. Let's see what he can manage. As Wujek starts lap number 3. Oscar also into the pit lane, which promotes Lord Jag and Twin Cam. So Wujek now under pressure from Doctor. In fact, Doctor's already got through, so a good chicane from Doctor there. And Michael Malik, does he fancy a shot at getting through? No, he can't do it on this occasion. Just a good exit there for Wujek. And Mantas is already up to P4. He's got the fastest lap as well. So won the previous race, started in P15, and is already up to P4, ladies and gents. We're not even at the end of lap 3. So a man on the move for sure. Twin Cam has spectated. He's not happy with how his pit stop went, clearly, and has aborted his run from race number 2. So some big hitters dropping out already, and certain other drivers having big issues. TJ all the way down in P22, can you believe it? Lots of work to do. Again, Wujek taking the widest line possible out of the final corner, carrying all the momentum, but now it's Mantas trying to get through on Michael Malik around the outside of the oval. Side by side across the line, Michael Malik had the lap in his favour, and Mantas has to drop behind once again. And here comes Martin Capal, taking advantage of Mantas's slow entry into the chicane, and says, "Thanks very much, I'll take that," and takes back P4. Can't imagine he's going to hold on to that for too long. Sorry, Martin, but the XFG is not cut out for this track if you've got a good driver at the helm of an XRG. Arrowfade comes into the pit lane and hands the position to Rocket. And TJ then snags the fastest lap and makes his way through Kig. As Martin Kapal has dropped Mantas and now catches up to the back of Michael Malik on the infield. So the XFG is strong on the infield, and as long as you're tucked up right behind an XRG, you might do well, as Mantas clips the tyres and loses a place to Pekka Koivunen as well. So Mantas has decided enough's enough and goes into the pit lane. And look at that already, Martin Kapal has lost a load of time to Michael. Let's see how the chicane goes for these two. With Pekka Koivunen there just behind in the XFG as well. But it is now Doctor who leads for Road Appraiser from Wujek. And Michael Malik, who takes quite a wide line into the first hairpin. And Martin Kapal still hanging on in there, so we've got quite a number of XFGs at the front of this race at the moment. But how long can they stay up at the sharp end? It's Magic who leads of the drivers who have already made their pit stop. But TJ making a stop is so far down after that incident. You'll be wondering how it all happened, but there we go, it happened so quickly. And so often is the way, it's just impossible to gain those places back when the majority of the lap is pretty much flat out. So here comes Michael Malik again. Wujek always going so wide out of that final corner. But this is where the XRGs can just stretch their legs and pull away. I predict a fight between Michael and Wujek pretty soon. Let's see how Michael takes the chicane. Is it going to be clean? Well, kinda. Sounded quite dramatic, and Wujek certainly took more of the certainly more contact through there, but taking a tighter line to block any sort of move from Michael. But it's going to bunch them up, and this could fall into the favour of someone who's already pitted further down if these three start going wheel to wheel. Mantas is just coming through turn number 1, chasing Master with Loco behind. But those guys are all fighting for position, even though Mantas has done a pit stop. So this is the time in the race where the people we're watching right now, Wujek and Michael, could really be doing without scrapping. Look how wide they go out of there through the cones. Not the way the track was designed to be driven, but anyway. And now Martin Kapal will try and utilise all of that slipstream from Michael's car. Goes onto the outside, but isn't going to be able to make a move before the chicane. You wouldn't want to anyway. Oh, Martin did not have the grip through there and slams into the outside of the second apex. Slows him down quite a lot. So 7 laps in. At the front we have Doctor for Road Appraiser, Sim Racing Polska Wujek, and Michael Malik for Master Race Car. And Magic, who was the first driver to pit, has had a bit of an issue and has dropped back behind a couple of the Born to Race cars, which means Mantas now takes up his, I guess, rightful place as the net race leader. But how much time has he lost fighting back through all these cars, I wonder? He started in P15, got up to P4, went into the pit lane and then came out in a heap of traffic, as you can see. And he's currently still trying to fight his way through Master. And I remember us saying that a couple of laps ago. So let's have a look. Master has already made a pit stop as well, so he is technically... Well, he is the top driver of those who've stopped, so Mantas has to get past him. He doesn't want to take too long doing that. The rest of the guys will be in within the next 10 laps. And then we'll see who has played the strategy game for this one. Mantas has the slipstream and goes to the inside. Master gave that up pretty easily. Looked as though initially he was going to go defensive, but then moved out to the outside of the track, and that is pretty much going to hand the place to Mantas. Good move. Still has a nose in, so Mantas may have to, really commit to the outside line, and does eventually clear the nose of Master. So up to P10 then for Mantas. But what is that gap to Doctor now? Well, it's just over 20 seconds, which may be just enough for Doctor at the moment. And Martin Capel is out driving the XFG here and is on the inside of Michael. Surely, Michael with the faster car. Martin has to back out of it again. But just shows you that if you get a good exit out of the final corner, the XFG can hang on to the back of the XRG. But Pekka Koivunen's right there with him as well. Oh, Martin's gone over the sausage curb. It's a bit of rear end action as the car steps out. Loco is now trying to get past Master here. And Mantas has dropped back behind. And we've got a three-way fight then. And this is all playing into the hands of Doctor and Wujek at the front. If these three continue to battle till the end, which is fairly likely, considering they're all on pretty similar paces, Loco goes for a move up the inside of Master. Master's still got it. He's still got the lead as we head through Piff Paff and down to Kirby. Fair play to the Sim Racing Polska driver for holding up the two Born to Race cars that came first and second in the previous race. Rocket unfortunately retires from the race. That leaves us with 22 runners then. And here comes Master. And Mantas is dropping back, it seems, from these guys. If Loco can get through at the first chicane, then Mantas is going to have a real problem on his hands trying to catch his teammate. Yeah, Master yields. Loco through. Will Mantas be able to get through as well? Yes, he is going to be able to do it. Master lost a lot of time in the chicane. But the gap between Loco and himself now... between Loco and Mantas is pretty sizable. The gap between these two at the end of the first race wasn't that big, and we've not got many laps to go at all. So new race leader then, Born to Race Loco. P2 in race 1. Followed by Mantas. Pekka Koivunen's managed to get past not only Martin Capel but Michael Malik as well. So Pekka Koivunen is on an absolute mission here, trying to prove to everybody that the XFG is still a relevant car here. Not quite got the legs to compete right at the very front as the XFG, but podium will be pretty good. And we'll see what he can manage at the end. Easy does it through turn 1. Slightly wide line, but nevertheless, I will very much doubt that Michael will be able to find a way through Pekka on the infield. And we know how quick the XFG is on the infield here. If anything, this is Martin Capel's opportunity to get through. But it's pretty technical, pretty tight. There's not really much of a line through Piff Paff, which is the kind of chicane coming up now. Piff and Paff. Now into Kirby. Michael quite deep on the brakes. Martin might fancy a shot up the inside. Thinks about it, but errs on the side of caution. And as we head out onto the oval one more time, oh, Martin runs into the back of Michael. Had nowhere to go, really. Just had a better exit. well, we'll have to slipstream Michael yet again and watch Pekka Koivunen disappear into the distance. That's got to be frustrating. But anyway, the two Trek drivers, they know each other very, very well. They won't mind having a fight together for sure. Michael and Martin. Known each other for a long time. And it's advantage to Michael Malik now then. So the gap between Doctor and Loco is down to just 21 seconds now. Loco will be aware, Doctor will also be aware, hopefully, that that is where the gap is at, and will make a decision at some point whether to come into the pit lane early or stay out and maintain track position until the very last moment. It's a tricky decision when you're in the middle of a race, deciding what to do with your pit strategy. But at the moment, it does look like Loco, Mantas, and Master, all three of those guys have the pace to potentially take an overall podium here as the laps tick away. Doctor stays out on track. We'll get an update on the gap as we come across the start finish. There he comes. And yeah, the gap down to 20.7. So a further 0.4 of a second taken out of him on that lap alone. So, yeah. Fight between Beirut and Yari into Dean. This is XFG versus XRG. Beirut in the BMW inspired livery there. And, well, forcing Yari a little bit against the wall. Maybe he didn't know he was there. Be very surprised. Yari on the outside now. Oh, turns in a bit too early. Trying to hang it around the outside, and that's possibly going to let Hachiroku through. Well, maybe not. But those two now will fight through Piff and Paff. Yeah, the gap between Loco and Doctor is now 19.7 seconds. As Doctor goes into the pit lane, he's decided to go early, which I'm pretty pleased about that. That makes things a little bit more interesting. He didn't really have much of a choice if he wants to maintain the lead of the race, as Jari Katila also comes into the pit lane for his mandatory stop. And let's see where Doctor comes out of the pits. He's made his stop and works his way down to the end of the pit lane. But where is Loco? Loco's already up to speed, and it's going to be a slam dunk. Doctor's still doing pit lane speed, and Loco is straight through. Will TJ also manage to get past as well? It might be close. No, Doctor's quite far up the road, but Master will get through as well. So yeah, the top three of the drivers who'd already pitted have now overtaken our race leader. So that is where the bar is, folks. Doctor returns in what will end up being P4 in the race overall after leading for so long. So who knows, if he'd have pitted a couple of laps ago, he would have been fighting for track position with Loco. But as I mentioned before, the Loco and Mantas didn't finish very far apart at all in race one. So Mantas has got his work cut out to try and catch up to his teammate. Good pace so far from Loco, and Mantas will know that. Knows his teammate is no one to be is not to be underestimated. No team orders either. These guys are not really in contention for the overall Drivers' Championship. That's between TJ and Joe Holmes at the moment. Joe, unfortunately, not in attendance today. TJ won't be securing particularly good points here in race 2, but will have points nonetheless to bolster his position in the championship with only a few rounds to go before the end of the season. But good to see Joe back in the finale. Hopefully it does come down to that final round so that we can get the championship covered on air. But here we are watching the top two currently, the Born to Race duo, Loco versus Mantas, driving the XFG, which is a fantastic car to drive. at Rockingham, which is arguably one of the nicest looking tracks in the game, being the only real world track in the game, now defunct of course, but nevertheless it existed as a racetrack at some point in time, and it's a wonderful recreation of the circuit, as true to life as you can get, pretty much. And yeah, well, it looks like Mantas is slowly closing up, but is it fast enough? And still, yeah, not able to get into the slipstream onto the oval. So yeah, Loco doing everything he needs to do right now. With 4 laps to go for our leaders at the very front, we wait and see where they will slot in. Pekka Koivunen leads the race in an XFG, as Beirut decides enough's enough and leaves the race. Wasn't enjoying himself maybe, but decides to leave. But yeah, Pekka Koivunen will probably rejoin somewhere around where Doctor was, I guess, as TJ makes his way through on his teammate as well. So how many more places can he make up? He's currently P4 once everyone else has made their stops. Can he get back past Master, I wonder? A recovery drive from TJ. Not what he would have been wanting at all. And you can see what happened. The damage at the front of the car tells a story. Lap 1, out of Brook, straight into the concrete wall for no obvious reason. Just some contact with another car, and into the wall he went. Dropped him all the way down to the back pretty much, and now he's climbing back up the order. And just our top 3 now left to pit, as well as Kig, Pekka Koivunen, Michael Malik, and Pekka Koivunen, Martin Kapal, and Michael Malik, as Michael goes into the pit lane. Oh, misses the first opportunity. Gets into another one. And where will he come out? Will he come out around Asker, maybe? No, Asker's going to be through. What about Jari Katila? Well, I think Jari might be through as well. So, see where he comes out. Oh, as Asker completely bins it into the wall. Comfortable that for him, losing another bunch of places with only 3 laps to go, including this one. Pekka Koivunen's got a massive gap over Martin Kapal. That's an impressive gap that he's managed to pull out. 5 seconds almost in equal machinery. So a good effort that. And expect to see Pekka in on the next lap then. He's not coming in on this time around. But we should turn our attention to Loco and Mantas, who appear to be as close as they've been all race long. And does Mantas have a slipstream now? Is this going to be it? Let's see. Loco is trying to break the slipstream. Mantas is using all of the apron and more, just trying to find the tiniest of advantages. Loco has the measure of him on this occasion. As we head on to the penultimate lap then, let's see how these two manage the chicane. Oh, it's incredible how 2 different lines there work almost exactly the same. Loco with a wider entry and a tighter exit. Mantas with a tight entry, tight exit, and there we go, on the brakes into turn 1. Mantas draws alongside his teammate, but is he going to be able to find a way through? So close on the outside. Loco gives his teammate room, fair play, but as we head through Chapman's there, Loco still holds the lead. No way through at Piff and Paff for Mantas, but will he decide to send it as we wrap up the lap? There's not really much of an opportunity into Kirby, nor will there be an opportunity into Brook, but what about the exit? Are they both going to get it right? Yes, they have, and now Mantas surely has to have some sort of slipstream. Loco will try and push him all the way down to the apex, but Mantas, he's still managing to get a tighter line through there. Holds right in behind Loco. I don't think he's going to be able to get through before the chicane, is he? No, he's going to have to back off. Or is he going to go for it? No, surely not. No, he isn't. Backs out of it at the final moment. Oh, almost going through with overlap. They've held each other up quite a bit there, and now it comes down to this one final lap between teammates. Mantas trying to do the switchback. Is he going to outbrake himself? Yes, he is. And surely then Loco will have the race win. Mantas just overcooked it, tried to get the switchback, and it just didn't work. Outbraked himself. Fair play. Had to do something, and a great effort there by all accounts, which means we can turn our attention back actually to the fight between TJ and Master, which is starting to heat up as well. TJ only with a couple more opportunities to get this move made as we round out race 2, and it's all come down to this: can TJ get a podium in race 2 tonight? Master has done everything he needs to do so far, and well, it's going to be a slipstream battle to the finish. TJ has to play this very carefully, but I think he's gone too deep. Yeah, he's gone way too deep over, too much grass, and TJ has completely ruined his exit, and that will be that. Master will take P3, but around the final corner comes Loco, P2 in race 1, but a brilliant race 2, and will win with a small margin over his teammate Mantas. Master will take P3 for Sim Racing Polska, and TJ for Road Appraiser has to settle for 4th. He will extend his lead in the championship, but it was a difficult evening. He did not get on the podium for race 2. He'll be a bit gutted about that, I'm sure. Doctor led for most of the race, pitted quite late on, but finishes P5 in the end. Wujek in P6, Magic, then Rayman, Pekka Koivunen and Hachi Roku, your top 10. And it's Pekka Koivunen who wins the battle of the XFGs tonight, finishing in P9 in the feature race. So yeah, very, very nice effort there from Loco. Great racing with his teammate. Nice strategy as well, deciding to hit at the perfect point in the race. And, well, that's how you get a win, folks. Just waiting for the final few cars to come across the line. Just Kig to come across the line, and we can run down the full order. Thank you very much for tuning in this evening. I hope you enjoyed race 2 as much as I did. And there we go. Kig comes across the line. And that is everybody. So we can now confirm that the winner of race 2 was Born to Race Loco. Mantas got the fastest lap of 1 minute 19.73 and takes P2 on this occasion. So a P1 and a P2 for both our top 2. That race was slightly slower than race 1, interestingly, and it was Master for Sim Racing Polska who takes the podium in race 3. TJ best of the rest with his teammate just behind him in P5, and then Wujek, Magic, Rayman, Koivunen and Hachi Roku round out your top 10. Martin Kapal in P11 there with Yari Katila, Derinus, Michael Malik, Oscar, Mad Jester, Lord Jag, C. White, Kig and Hermani, your top 20. And then over on the second page of results, we'll have a few DNFs. But first of all, it's Aerophage, your final finisher, with Beirut, Rocket, Zables, Twincam and Fnatic not finishing. Fnatic there, AFK on the grid by the looks of it, and not even getting going at the green light. A few cars having to avoid him. Yeah, a shame to see that. Would have been interesting to see where Fnatic would have ended up at the end of race 2. Well, that brings to a close the action here at round 48 of the Fragmasters GTI Thursday Championship for 2023. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you can join us for the finale, which is going to be on December 21st, round number 51. We will see, and we will announce the winner of both the teams and the Drivers' Championship live on air. And we hope that you can join us for it, for that send-off for the series in 2023. It's been a fantastic year. We've been thrilled to be a part of it with the coverage. Sorry we couldn't bring you Zdravko's voice tonight, but hopefully he'll be with us again for round 51, where we can get the band back together and do it one final time in 2023. So yeah. All that's left to say on our side is thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for your support, of course. We really do appreciate it here on the channel, bringing you coverage of all of the action that we do present to you in Live for Speed. There is a new test patch out, so please go ahead and try that out with the stable release due in a couple of weeks' time, we believe, just before the holidays. So plenty of good stuff to go and check out on the LFS forum. Plenty of servers to test those out on as well. So if you are playing Live for Speed, then go and grab the test patch, check it out, and have a good time doing that. From all of us here at Sim Broadcasts, we'll see you at the next round of FM GTI Thursday at the end of the month, the finale, round 51, at a track that is to be confirmed. And we will see the showdown, hopefully, between TJ and Joe Holmes at that one. But until then, from all of us here on Sim Broadcasts, have a great evening and good night.